The economy here is controlled by the multinationals.
They are motivated by profit.
These companies put profit before people. A lot of them have been harassed, some threatened to be killed, and some of them have been killed already as well.
Toral, gutom. Krisis, grabe nga krisis.
I'm John Ryan Mendoza. I'm a community nurse and advocacy officer for Rural Missionaries of the Philippines here in Mindanao. I've always found my health work as an entry point in order to discuss the underlying issues on human rights. From my exposure, my integration with them, we have seen how much of these workers don't really earn enough to raise a family and even not even enough to take care of their own health. Sabi panahon gasakit imong tangkugo. Say mo taas imong presyon ba?
I'm Roelano Embriones. I'm with the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. I conduct research mainly on agricultural policy. The Philippines is world's number 2, particularly for pineapple exports. It accounts for about 6 or so percent of worldwide exports. Mindanao accounts for almost the entire amount of pineapple exports of the country. If you look, say, 2012 from earlier base, say mid-2000s, the industry has grown. Price has been generally growing as well, but I was surprised to note that over the last 12 years since 2002, real wages have actually fallen.
Siyempre, padayon lang kag trabaho, wala na po kailaing trabaho nga matrabahuan. So bisan og alakansi, igo na lang makakaon, dili makahalos, dili kapalit og bugas, ang sudan. Nung ka nga wala gyud kay trabaho nga masudlan.
If you look at the macro situation where there is a huge unemployment, and that's one reason also of the source of arrogance of the company. If you have complaints, it's very easy, you can just go away. But after all, there is a long queue for the unemployed people.
The difference between a contractual worker and a regular worker is primarily what I know is the benefits that they get, and they are only given work for a certain number of months. While a regular worker, more or less they have security of tenure, that they cannot be easily be sacked or fired because of agreements within the company. But in general, being a contractual worker, it's much worse than being a regular employee here in Mindanao.
If you talk to managers or of these companies, they would be talking a lot about how much government is interfering with their business, putting up labor laws and putting up these various regulations on how they export and so on. That's par for the course. Okay. But I'm pretty sure if you talk to farm workers, they would give you a different story about how they're treated, whether they believe that they're paid appropriate wages.
Amon trabaho sa na harvest. Usahay mag kaniri me pakyaw. Yawan among trabaho lu kana pila kalod, upat kalod ba. Di mi mahuman, dili mi full time.
Harvest na pinya. So depende man namay kanang og taying maghigot og pisi habog ang kanal nang maghigot og pisi sa pinya. 25 areas 252. Pero dili gina siya mahuman og 8 hours ang 25 areas nga imong hiktan og pisi. Pero kung dili makuha ang quota 200 kapin, 100 kapin.
Kada human akong trabaho, mura ko manakit akong mga bukog. Kapoy. Nya, masuko pag inas nagputpahuay me. Gusto nga lihok yun. Huwag mong ginakabaw, patil kita noon nga taora.
One of the things that we're trying to make them understand that while these companies have a different focus, I think that workers have a lot of influence in trying to change things.
Wala naman may makagwanta, labi ang amo ang is wala iiribit bitaw. Ito nga, nagrally mi diha. Football mi nila.
So ang among gihimo adto, wala man gimi benepisyo na mahitabo sa mo na masamad, na ospital, wala may gihatag sa kumpanya nga benepisyo. Ga organize media sa sulod kauban ng mga trabahante ug nagkandak mig picket rally diha sa mismo sa cooperative. Pag human sa among picket rally, gitanggal mi sa among trabaho, wala na may patrabaho sa kumpanya. Siyempre, balik mi sa among trabaho, nanapon mi nagtrabaho sa tubuhan.
When you are hired, you will be told that you should not get associated, not even close to a union organizer or to a unionist. Otherwise, though you know what it is, otherwise you lose job. Plantations and mining are priority industries. And when we say priority, even by law, they are allowed to hire or to enlist the services of the army.
The most basic problems for workers would be primarily income. Because in the situation here, in the plantations, they don't have enough wages to support their families. And the other thing is they're paid so low that their working conditions are not even usually not humane. They're overworked and they're not given enough protection to ensure that they work safely. The sad thing is, they don't have enough support for them to deal with those health issues. So it just becomes a cycle. They become sick and they become unproductive and they're not able to support their family. So they just become poorer and in this endless cycle of poverty. But later on, I realized that providing just health services isn't enough. That sometimes we have to go to the root why they are sick. And usually the reasons why they are sick is because they don't have food. And they don't have food because they don't have access to their own land.
nga sa sinugdanan mayo ang relasyon ingon nga pakighigala hantod nga nag hangyo sila mga mag-uma ug wala may mahibalo day nga sa kadugayan ila na nga gipatituluhan kay wala may mga pinag-aralan ng among mga katigulangan.
A lot of these landowners have been persuaded to lease their lands to the big multinationals because there was pure monopoly power. In Mindanao especially, there's just these big multinationals operating since the 20th century, the American colonial period. And they're the same companies operating today.
Indigenous peoples here in Mindanao have a very intimate link with land. They consider it as their church, their school, their hospital, their food source. So their land is their life and their identity. If you take it away from them, they're gone.
Atin mi og sulod diha sa kuan sa kining ranso lagi kay di namo kaya ang kagutom, di namo kaya ang among kahimtang dire. Dibalik mi og sulod ang mga payag amo nang gialsa didto mga bata tanan gisulod mi. Wa mangyapon mi ka kuan kay gi pang pusil naman gi pang rakraka nami da sa kuan sa mga guns gyapon ni puling. So wa gyapon mi na kuha nga kabutan.
Ang among mga tagsa-tagsa ka mga area gisudla gipabuldos. Sa unsa nga tanom namo gibuldos sa ilang mga makinarias. So kami ang tag-iya natural nga mo suway gid kami og pugo nga dili lang sa kuanon kay mura na among gipangabuhian. So katong uban gyud nga na ni kuan gyud nga mupugong naigo nang igo jud sila.
Tayo may hapon.
Sa akong pagtrabaho sa plantasyon, kung trabaho dito usab ko ka lidman. Pag trabaho na ko sa kalidman, maliog 2 ka tuig. Pag wala pa mag-operasyon ang mga chemical sa kumpanya,
Ikaw naman ay nani, mga kauban ni mo na po inana sa panit.
Kasagaran nga ginabation namo magsakit among ulo. Tapos murag na imubara sa imong dinhi tilaok. Katulang na murag mahalap imong pananaw. Tapos kadtong ikagabi di ka katulog og dili ka kapanabon og maayo kay katul.
There are many pesticides which are supposedly banned in other countries, but they're also being used in different plantations here, not just in pineapple. But in pineapple, one of the pesticides that they were saying that they are commonly used is pesticide called indosulfan.
The effects of endosulfan that I get as reports from workers who claim that they have been using it in their work, they feel changes in their breathing, they've been coughing more, and they've been told to take a bath like right after handling it, and if it's really itchy if they don't wash it off.
Nahitabo, na-assign man ko sa sprayman bali 1 month isa ka bulan. Nakasulod mi sa ilang budiga gahalo mi og similya. Nakita na mo tong gamay kayo nga label nga indosulfan. Pero sa sunod nga namong balik, di kuha na tong label.
Well, endosulfan has been proven to be harmful. That's why it's been banned in the West now. As far as I know, it's a toxin that could cause, different kinds of cancers. if it could kill living things around it, and all the more for humans who work with it. I believe that for any industry to be working properly, it has to really take a serious concern on how their workers are treated, and also find better ways to not destroy the environment while doing it.
People in the provinces, of course, depend on the natural source of water. And in some studies conducted previously, and test and water had been tested, there was there's some contamination of pesticides, and people have difficulty now in terms of sourcing potable water.
This is the place where bananas are being grown, where you are able to preserve the environment. There's no chemical pollution around. Nothing pollutes the air and the soil. I am Coronado Apusen, a farmer, an organic enthusiast, advocate, and practitioner. Our focus now is organic agriculture.
Makuan gay namo nga ang amo ang produkto is organic, dili lang sa sweldo ang among giapas kundi hasta ang kayuhan sa among lawas. Ang ganahan kong trabaho diri kay diri man gyud among panginabuhi, kanang murag among kuhaan sa among ang among income diri, mura po'y among ipalit pud og among makaon. So murag bisag sa isa lang sa isa ka semana pero dako nang tabang sa mo ni isa ka adlaw.
It's a capitalism of the people, for the people, and by the people. In the sense, there is no exploitation to speak of, because it's the farmers deciding among themselves how to produce, how to compensate their efforts and their labor. In a period of 10 years, it's possible that you can double your production compared to when you started growing organically. Because by then, you shall have restored the soil balance. We're trying to replicate this in another crop. We want to grow pineapple differently, not like the rest or the big companies who are growing it conventionally.
Now, probably they could say that they already went that extra mile. That's fair enough. But in today's high poverty situation, all of us probably should try to think about what more we can do about the situation.
That's the difference between running an enterprise with a conscience or running an enterprise with very little regard for ethics.
The pineapple industry can address these problems if their model of prioritizing profit over people could somehow be balanced.